Hello, good evening, and welcome to the channel. The addiction tonight is how to profit from farming and everything you need to know. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's get started. Most players' idea of farming is to go to a location, kill stuff, and hope to profit, which is not wrong, but there are better ways to improve overall profits when farming. In this video I will be showing you my own methods and techniques, tips and tricks I have picked up over 15 years on WoW and what I personally use on a daily basis in-game for farming and making gold. You have seen my results in previous videos, now it's time to show you how I do it. The first thing I do once I have booted up WoW and logged in is to decide what I am going to be farming. I head to the local auction house and using the add-on called Worthit and a website called WoW Price Hub, I will compare prices. WoW Price Hub will give you update prices on all servers, will show you trending items and can even track and show price and sales details for single or group items. A very powerful tool if used correctly as a farmer, details in the description below. The add-on Worthit works best with Trade Skill Master, which seems to be functioning normal now as it has been buggy lately. Using Worthit, if you mouse over items it will show you price details in the tooltip, saving you having to run back to town to check prices every time you get loot. But the main stat you want to pay attention to is the sell rate highlighted on screen. The higher the number, the faster that item is selling, which is both a good and a bad thing. But I will talk about that more later. It's also a handy little tip to favorite the items you farm the most, making it faster to see information on them without the need for typing. When picking what to farm, it may help to follow these little steps when choosing one if you cannot decide. First is rep items. Rep items can be farmed by anyone, you do not need any skills, buffs or gear, as long as you can kill the target and loot your golden. Rep items are always sought after by players for rep gains of course, and are willing to pay top dollar for them. This is where we step in and provide help emptying their wallets and bank accounts of gold. The good thing with rep item farms is that they tend to be within the same area as a multi-farm, which leads me nicely onto option 2. There are so many profitable multi-farms, you are really spoiled for choice honestly. Here is a breakdown of what a multi-farm is quickly for the newer players. Simply put, a multi-farm is a farm where you are able to obtain more than 2 different items worth farming and can make you gold. The average multi-farm can be 3 to 5 different items. And the highest I have found so far that I am aware of is a 10-way multi-farm. Items can be anything from reagents to skinning and transmogs to rep items and so on. So if I say this is a 5-way multi-farm, that means you can profit 5 different ways, and make gold even before potentially increasing overall profits with other methods. Next viable option is gathering, where there be either mining, skinning, fishing or herbs. All are needed and most have extremely good price tags. Here are just a couple of examples. There are other viable types of farming in WoW, from AFK farms to raw gold farms and so on. Now with regards to transmogs, I feel I should give an explanation as to why you will never see me farming for them. I am hoping to show you why transmogs farming is not as good as players make it out to be, and the truth may sting a little. You have done your research looking at the markets and worth it on prices like normal, may even check out a website called WoW Mogs Companion and have picked an item to farm. This is just one example of a transmogs item I will be using in this little demonstration. Let's say you want to farm for this weapon only to sell to make gold. So you need to go to the raid or dungeon and run it X amount of times for the chance, which could take you days to weeks, even months depending how rare the item is. So for this purpose let's say it took us 1 week of farming to get the weapon, and now you want to sell it. All transmogs sell, we have shown proof of this in previous videos, but here is some more. As this item has an extremely high eye-watering price tag, selling this weapon for that price will take you some time. Weeks to months possibly, and having to lower your asking price just to try and sell it. So let's say you had luck on your side and was able to sell it within 2 weeks of placement on the auction. So in total, you spent 3 weeks farming one item and to only sell it for lower than what its true value is to make a profit. Yes, agreed, once you do sell big ticket items, it's rather epic. Who would not like to see that amount of gold in the mailbox when you log in? Now see my point of view, this is how I see transmogs farming in WoW. So again, using the previous example, it took you 3 weeks to get the item you was after plus all the other mogs and whatnot, and to sell them and make a profit for your time spent. Then as a farmer I come along with my farming army and make that same amount of gold, if not more, in a fraction of the time you spent using my own methods for farming, which is paying out big time. Had to break it down like this to make it fully understandable and clear, but the simple way of describing it is, for the time you spend transmogs farming for items, I have already farmed and sold more items, making me more gold in less time. All proof and evidence can be found on my channel. I do not actively farm transmogs. Most mogs I get a link to a multi-farm I am doing, and therefore classed as bonus gold. Now you know the main type of farms I mainly run, so how do you know which farm to run? And when I hear you ask, an honest answer to that is time and experience. Most, if not all, the farms I will show are always viable no matter what expansion or patch we are in, and will make you gold. Over time you will get to know the farms and what they give, seeing the price changes and picking the right ones to run. The only advice I can give here is rather simple: only farm what you enjoy farming and have fun doing so. What is the point otherwise? Running a farm you dislike will only give you crap profits, as you are not fully committed putting 100% effort when farming. If you enjoy the farm and the time spent doing it, you will see a massive difference for sure. Just look at me for example. I absolutely love farming, and is why I am rich. You may think I am joking with this segment of the video, but honestly I am not. Let me explain quickly. Does this sound familiar to you at all? You are going farming, so you run to the nearest flight master, you hop on and pick your location and off you go, going AFK to get a drink or play with the cat. Maybe watch YouTube videos until you land at your destination. Sound about right? 100% this is a player's personal preference and time available to them. But stop using flight points please, you are missing out on a lot of gold. So I have decided on a farm, and I am heading to one of my all-time favorite raids for farming, and that is Firelands, which I will be using to explain how I travel to a farm. Most players would now just mount up and fly to the entrance to the raid, which is not wrong of course, I just see things differently. I come through the portal and automatically see a multi-farm right in front of me. Look, see. Scalding Rock Elemental Multi-Farm for Volatile Fire and Earth, a massive 339 drop loot table with some very rare drops and recipes, and the second best place to farm for tiny chests after Firelands. This farm is well worth the time, and you may want to come back to it later just for the volatile drop rate. Best thing about this spot is the insane respawn timer on the elementals. I would not class this as an insta or force spawn location even with a 2x or 4x group, but it's damn close enough even solo. Flying down towards Firelands and killing Blazewing if it is up for the extra gold and loot. Might as well kill some lava surges and core hounds while we are here for more volatile fire and earth, as well as savage leather and maybe pristine hide. The lava surges are identical to the rock elementals from looks to loot tables, and the core hounds do not really drop that much, but can supplement the other farm here. We are now right outside the Firelands raids, but we are not done just yet. The magma giants here also drop volatile fire and have a fast respawn rate, so you can double up this farming location with the fire pools also found around Firelands, which once fished, can produce a decent amount of volatile fire also. All this, and we are not even in the main farm yet. I apologize as I can get carried away sometimes with farms. The point I am trying to make about traveling to farms is simple: if you have spare time available, why not look around the local area to where your main farming location is? You might be very surprised with what you can find. Less than 8 minutes being in the zone, and I have already made a potential 10k gold profit, and I am not even at my farm yet. Do you see what I mean now? Welcome to the Firelands Tiny Chest Multi-Farm. One of my first videos on the channel was a guide on how to run this farm. I will leave a link in the description. Now you may think this is pointless to farm Firelands or just not aware of how good this farm actually is, so I will give you a detailed breakdown. This breakdown will apply and work the same way for any dungeon or raid farm to open world farms you can do in World of Warcraft. And I really do hope it will highlight all the opportunities you may or may not have been missing when farming. The most important rule 100% you must remember when raid or dungeon farming, and that is to never kill any bosses. I repeat, do not kill a single boss. If you do, you become locked to that raid for that week and have to wait to reset on Wednesdays in order to run it again. If you do not kill a single boss and just kill all the trash, then you will not get locked and therefore can run outside once you have cleared everything, and reset the run, allowing you to go again up to a maximum of 10 runs per hour. Golden rule number 1, do not forget it. Now I will break down this raid showing you every opportunity one used to make gold. Again, this thought process will work for most if not all farms in game. Number 1 is easy. Kill all the trash and profit from the raw gold, using a potion of treasure finding to be able to obtain tiny chests. This method can only be used in Cataclysm, but worth a mention for sure with this farm. Bringing a skinner or miner for the hefty profits that come with them. And of course all the transmogs you get, and there will be a lot. These are the basic ways you can make gold in a farm, but that really is not good enough for me, so let's step it up a gear. Starting with all the transmogs drop you will get in a 10-run lockout. This again is entirely up to you, but my best advice is to keep only the extremely high value mogs and just disenchant everything else. With the dust crystals and essences you have a further 2 options for profits. One is to just outright sell as is, or 2, use the reagents you get to craft Tombs of Illusions, which is also another good sell if the prices are right. The next way you can make more gold is with skinning. After a 10-run lockout you should be sitting on around 700 plus savage leather. Always checking your auction house and comparing prices, but you could potentially increase your overall profits if you convert the savage leather into heavy savage leather. The other way is to craft bracers, as many as you can with the amount of leather you have, then disenchant all of them for reagents to sell, again checking your auction house prices first. But both options are very viable. It is the same process for mining, just mine the elementals and you will have a chance at getting ore and earth, just adding to your profits. So to maximize this farm, bringing a skinner and miner is ideal and would work best. This is just added information, but you will not get a lot of ember silk cloth while farming Firelands. All ember silk cloth will come mostly from the tiny chests, and once again it's the same thinking, thought process and methods as with skinning, leatherworking, mining and blacksmithing. So get into the habit of checking if a reagent can be converted into a better version of itself, which will mean more gold for you. Rather simple, to be fair, don't you think? I must stress again that this is not a guide on how to farm Firelands, this is a guide on how to farm, full stop. I just want to be clear there. Generally speaking, this is how I look at farms in WoW, and you should too. Using these methods and techniques with some out-the-box thinking will improve your overall gold making profits, as you are giving yourself more options than before to make gold that you may not be aware of. With that being said, and the my farming breakdown is complete, let's move back into town for some auction house action and undercutting. Players may not like this next part, but it needs to be said, sorry to say. I'm going to very quickly explain why you should not be undercutting at all, full stop. So let's get this over with. The best way to look at the auction house is simple. When selling anything on the auction house, you are basically joining a line, and you just jumped ahead of everyone and are now in position 1. So anyone buying will buy your items first until either you have sold out, or someone new joins the line, knocking you down into second place. This is just how the auction house works in World of Warcraft. So when someone comes along and undercuts, thinking they may sell the item faster, they are not wrong. The only problem with this is they are dragging the price down. Then the next clever player comes along and does the same thing, reducing the prices more and more each time, which is not just hurting their own profits. Bravo, by the way, bravo. You cannot see this, but I am sarcastically clapping here. But they are also dragging the price down, hurting other players. If you was unaware of this, well, now you know, but if you are doing this intentionally, then you, my friend, are just a complete and utter deed. I am not moaning, just stating the obvious. That is enough about undercutting. Let's go open some lock boxes and see if we can break the Loot Appraiser add-on. I do not have that many tiny chests or lock boxes, but what I do have will just have to do. I am trying to keep the video as short as possible, so I am going to do a side-by-side time-elapsed view. Please enjoy. $5.8 million in potential profits. Yeah, right, I wish, but I will not argue with that outcome. Profits from the tiny chests alone can buy a token, that is for sure. I may need to test that theory. Could be my next challenge. There are no big secrets when it comes down to item placement on the auction house and trading. Using add-ons like Trade Skill Master and Auctionator are just quality of life improvements and not needed. Only advice I can give you here is to always have stuff selling and try to have a vast range of different items. Do not limit yourself with only a few select items. The more you have on the auction house, the more chances of sales. The past couple of weeks now I have been testing a small theory, and that is to stack and save absolutely everything I farm. Then mass sell everything on the auction house at prime times of the day and week, like the weekends and weekly reset, and I always seem to empty my guild's banks. Give it a try, it may work for you too. Well, this is how I look and run farms in World of Warcraft, a breakdown of what I do and how I do it. Small changes can make a massive difference, do remember that. Thank you so much for watching this guide. I really do hope you found it useful in some way or another. Would love to know how you all get on, please keep me informed, thanks. With that being said, please do not forget to like and subscribe, honestly does help the channels to grow. So until the next video people, please stay warm and be safe everyone.